we got to talk about Oklahoma going to Lincoln, Nebraska, and making a statement. Oklahoma won the game 49-14 over Nebraska, and there's a lot to unpack here. Nebraska did kind of, in a condensed way, what we thought they might. Mickey Joseph taking the reins after Scott Frost gets asked to leave the program for a few $1 million, head coach. And we thought, okay, maybe Nebraska, for the first time since the Northwestern game, is refocused. Maybe they just look like a different team, and now without all those distractions, they come out swinging. And that's what happened, to be fair. On the first drive of the game, Nebraska drew first blood. They landed a solid right hook on the chin of the Oklahoma program. And so you're saying, okay, here we go. This is new Nebraska, baby. Oklahoma, to their credit, and we'll talk more about this in a second, Oklahoma steadies themselves, kind of taste their own blood for a second, and then just proceeded to throw haymaker after haymaker after haymaker on the Nebraska program. So again, we're going to unpack that more in a minute, but as far as this pertains to Nebraska, what I think we learned is this is truly going to be a full reset, whether it's Mickey Joseph or whether it's some other head coach that comes in and takes that job. It's going to be a full reset at Nebraska. It's going to take a full reset this season for them to be competitive. They just fired the defensive coordinator, so there's going to be some things that are still sort of working around here. Bill Busch is going to be the defensive coordinator going forward. But when it comes to this team the rest of the way, I think we saw they still have some players on this team, especially on offense. They got some guys. We were really high on Casey Thompson coming into the year. I don't think we're wrong on that. They were averaging 35 coming into this game. The offense has got some juice. They got Anthony Grant. They got a lot of playmakers. But as a team, within this program, they're still going to have to find their footing, and it's not going to be this coming season. So Nebraska fans, hang on tight. I think help is on the way. I think whoever you get in there has a chance to do a lot with the talent in this locker room. But in terms of what you already have in place, in terms of the structure you have in place, might be a little bit of a waiting game past 2022. The bigger takeaway for me is Oklahoma. Because coming into this game, what I was looking for from Oklahoma is, okay, validate what you did those first 2 weeks of the season. You look dominant, but you look dominant against UTEP and Kent State. No knock on those programs, but Nebraska's a Power 5 football team. They're going to have a different caliber of athlete on the field than those programs would present you with. So for Oklahoma, the fact that they were able to, one, handle momentum going against them for the first time this season, steady themselves, and then proceed to play their game, tells me a lot about the maturity of this team. Because it would have been really easy to fall trap to really what Nebraska was bringing to the table that day. Because Nebraska had nothing to lose, was in wounded animal mode, and a wounded animal, right before it takes its last breath, this is morbid, but hang with me, right before that animal goes, it gives one last solid kick. And that's what Nebraska did the first drive of this game. They gave their last solid punch, last ditch effort at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma took that and then went forward and played their game. The thing I was impressed by was Oklahoma didn't really have to adjust too much. They didn't really have to adapt what they did from a defensive or offensive standpoint to what Nebraska was bringing. They were able to just kind of play their game. And so, as a whole, do we know that Oklahoma is going to be elite the rest of the way? There's a lot of football left to be played, folks. Oklahoma's got some really good teams left on their schedule, but for them to pass this first test gives me some encouragement that, okay, there is something under the hood here at Oklahoma. Dillon Gabriel, he's got full command of this offense. He's got full command of this team. That whole marriage we talked about going into the year with Jeff Lebby and Dillon Gabriel, will it work? Will it not work? Oh, it's working. So far, it's working. The ROI is phenomenal. So you passed your first test, but like I said, when Big 12 play ramps up, that's when we find out exactly who they are. It's like if you were to walk into quantum physics class, I'd be concerned if you hadn't passed algebra. If you hadn't passed basic math, I'd be like, what are you doing in this class? So are we prepared to put Oklahoma in the quantum physics of college football class? We're going to put them at the elite tier just yet? I don't know about that. But for them to be able to pass this first test, show us that they're able to beat competition they're supposed to beat and beat them in the way they're supposed to beat them on the road, I'm impressed. I'm encouraged. So Oklahoma doing what they're supposed to do. Again, going to Lincoln, getting a definitive win against a dangerous for what they were in terms of situation-wise, Nebraska, 49-14, Oklahoma getting it done. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.